Kia ora, Tony Wood here, the minister at Johnsonville Uniting Church. And as I sit here and bring you this week's devotional thought, for the last 4 or 5 days, there's been one news story which has really dominated the headlines, and that has been the missing submersible submarine, the Titan, which on an expedition to go and look at the Titanic 4 kilometres below sea level, disappeared. And it seems this morning the news is indicating that will end as a tragedy. As I've followed that news story this week, I've thought of the other stories like that have come out of the blue, just like that did, and transfixed the world's attention to see how they would turn out. Pike River was one, just over a decade ago. The Russian nuclear submarine, the Kursk, that lost power in the Barents Sea was another. And also, of course, the boys that got stuck in the flooded Thailand cave, that all were successfully brought out. At times like this, there are two things I'm drawn to think about. One is that you see the very best of humanity. International boundaries, cultural boundaries, language boundaries, they all vanish as the people with the expertise from wherever they are in the world volunteer and offer to come and help in the hope of saving people's lives. So we see the very best of humanity at these times. The other thing I'm drawn to think of is that, of course, in a week's time from now, there will be another news story dominating our airwaves. And this story will have disappeared into the background for sure. Because other than Pike River, that's what's happened with all of those other ones. And Pike River, perhaps just because we're here in New Zealand and we know more about what's happening there. But I always think that these items make the headlines and then they vanish from view. But for the people whose lives are changed because of them, it never goes away for them. In Matthew chapter 10, it says, if you take even a cup of water to someone who needs it, you do it as if you're doing it for Jesus. And so I think as we sit here, we probably can all think of people that we know of in our lives that have suffered a tragedy, or maybe that's happened to us ourselves. My encouragement is to think about those people, to contact them, go and have a cup of coffee with them, see how they are going. Be that person who takes that drink of water of love to those who these sorts of impacts never stop affecting. God bless you this weekend. See if you can take that up and do that in Jesus' name.